Man, this thing is heavy when it's full. What's up guys, Rob Sambles here, welcome back to the channel. So today is part one of two videos which I'm going to do. I said I would do an updated what's in my bag video, a bit more detail about some of the gear I use now because it has changed a little bit and I've got some different gear to the last video that I did. I think my last what's in my bag video I did around this time last year, so the beginning of 2018. These kind of videos are always cool. I know I love watching these videos. I think everyone loves watching videos, just looking at what gear people use and I like how that person sets up their gear. I like their lens. I like, you know, it's just interesting. They're cool videos to watch. So quite enjoy them. I love watching them myself. I could watch those videos like all day. So I thought I would do an updated version for you guys of my own gear. Now the reason I'm doing it in two parts, unfortunately, is not because I own so much gear that it would take me 2 videos worth to go through it. It's because generally speaking, I use two different, quite distinct setups. The first one being for basketball. And in fact, that setup is fairly similar for a lot of the indoor sports I use. So it's the same for basketball, netball, and other sports like that. And then I have my football setup, which is quite different. I use a different type of bag, some different lenses, and I take gear along with me for that, mainly because it's outdoors, than stuff that I take for my basketball setup. So I don't know which one you guys would want to see first. I've decided the basketball, mainly because I just shot a basketball event, and in fact my next event is also a basketball event, so I've got my bag set up for basketball right now, so I thought I would do the basketball video first. Before we get into that guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you go check out my social media channels as well. You can find me on Instagram. My main Instagram account for you guys into your sports is probably going to be my Rob Sambles Sport account. I'm going to put that on the screen right here so you guys can see. Go check out some of the stuff on there, check out some of the photos, things from all the different events I do. I normally post at least one thing from kind of every event that I do, so it'll give you guys a good idea of where I am and what I'm up to and what I'm doing as well. I've also got 2 other accounts as well. I've got the Rob Sambles photo, and I've also got the Scorchers Photog, which is a basketball specific one. So especially if you see the title of this video and you're into your basketball photography, go check out that one, the Scorchers Photog, because that one will probably be quite interesting for you guys. And last but not least, and perhaps most importantly, guys, if you enjoy this video, if you find it useful, if it entertains you for 5-10 minutes of your day, make sure you go smash that like button like you mean it. Give me that like, give me that thumbs up. It means a lot more to me than you probably realise. Helps out the channel, helps out the video. And also it helps me to judge on what type of content people like. So if you like this type of stuff, make sure you hit the like button. It shows me. I know which type of videos to be starting to focus on a bit more. So we're going to get into the actual gear. Before we do, guys, what do you think of the lighting in this video? Please comment below and let me know. I've just got a new lighting set up. You guys can't see it right there, but we've actually got lights over here, over here, over here as well, up here rather. I'm going to do a whole video about that and a whole setup of this office space that I'm in. It's nowhere near finished yet, so I'm not going to do it yet, but there will be one of those coming real soon. But comment, guys, let me know. What do you think? Is it too bright? You know, I've literally just set these up like 5 minutes ago, so I'm looking on the screen over there. Yeah, it's not too bad. I've got a bit of shiny head going on, but that's more to do with my hairline than it is to do with the lighting, I think. Anyway, guys, enough of the chit-chat. Let's get into this. Let's see what's in my bag for 2019 basketball photography. Let's go. First thing, we're going to talk about the actual bag itself. Now, this is a backpack, and I think that's probably a fairly key thing to note when it comes to my basketball photography. I do use a backpack. I don't feel like I've got enough gear to warrant the wheelie case, which I do use for the football. You guys will see that in the football video. I use a backpack for the basketball. This backpack is the Think Tank Streetwalker. I think it's the version 2.0 or V2.0. Awesome bag, fairly new to me. My previous backpacks, I was working with the Amazon Basics backpack, which I still use. You guys are going to see that in the football video. Before that also I used a low pro bag, a pro something, not the Pro Tactic, not the newer one, the previous one before that. And I was using that quite a bit as well. But I bought this bag, specifically I bought this for a trip to the States. which I needed a bag that was going to store my gear safely. I was going to be able to walk around and do a lot of hiking, like Grand Canyon and cities and all that kind of stuff. We did quite an extensive trip, so I needed a really solid bag. I watched loads of reviews. I saw some good things about this, so this is the backpack that I bought. I like it. It's got loads of pockets on the front, side pockets, zips up real securely. The straps on the back are really nice, really supportive, nice thick padded straps. It's got this kind of sort of Air-X situation down the middle, padded lower back section, which is really good as well, really comfortable. I wore this literally for a full day walking around the Grand Canyon with loads of gear in it. It was comfortable all day, really enjoyed it. Awesome bag, guys, is my honest opinion. I can fit my laptop in here, so there's a side zip section where my laptop goes. I get all my gear in the main section. I've got accessories in the pockets. We're going to show you all the gear, don't worry about that. So really good backpack if you're after a backpack. It's not the cheapest backpack. You know, I think it's like £100 something. You know, if you're after a cheaper backpack, I've shown you guys before in the video, the Amazon Basics backpack is a great little starter backpack. It's big enough as well. The Amazon Basics wheelie case as well, which you're also going to see in the football video. Amazon Basics, guys, don't overlook it. Yeah, it's cheap, but you know what? It does the job. And I'm a big believer in not spending money on things you don't need to spend loads of money on. I bought this because I wanted something a bit more solid, a bit more durable, that I could take with me on my trip to the States. But not to say that this is the backpack you should be getting. I'm sure loads of different backpacks are good. So, right guys, I'm going to adjust the camera a bit so you can actually see what's going on in the main section of the bag in a minute. But before I do that, I just thought I'd do some of the side pockets and some of the accessories bits. The first thing, this attached up here to the top, this is a Joby Gorilla Pod. Now, I always take this to my basketball events, mainly because I use it for my floor remotes. So this is really bendy. You guys who aren't familiar with one of these, it's a real good piece of kit. You can bend it all over the place. And I use it for my floor remotes for basketball. You can kind of plonk that down. You know, really decent piece of kit. And it's very, you know, variable. I can get it really low angle and get it so it's kind of looking out towards the basket. I wouldn't attach this to anything. Like I wouldn't use this for like a backboard remote or anything. You need something much more durable for that. But for a floor remote, it's really great. I also take this with me because I use it for my videos. So when you guys see me filming, I've got my my camera set up on here, and I use it kind of like this, and I talk to the camera. So when you guys see me walking around at my basketball games and stuff, this is what I'm filming on at the time. So real handy piece of kit, which I take pretty much everywhere actually, but I definitely take it for the basketball because I use it as a floor remote. Other quick couple of bits in these side pockets. Lower pocket down the front here, can you guys see that? You can. In here I have my card reader. I use a Lexar Pro card reader, USB 3. Really good, really reliable. I've got two of these actually. I've got this one here which goes everywhere. I've got another one over here on my desk, which is for my home computer. I have two purely so I don't forget it. If I was taking it out of my bag to use at home and then another one to take with me to the events, I'd end up forgetting it. So I have this, and also in this front pocket I have my spare card reader. This is just a cheap one from Amazon or somewhere. You know, it's not as good, it's not as fast, but it's my backup one. I don't think I've ever had to use this, but I've used it to check it works. But it's my backup one, just in case something like a card reader you want to spare, just to be safe. The other front pocket, this one's a much bigger, like fold-out pocket. There's nothing really actually much in here. Sometimes I'll put the power cable for the laptop in here. I've just got a pen, some business cards. I'll keep my accreditation in here as well for whichever event I'm going to. But actually right now, there's not really too much in there. Side pockets. So there's two of these side pockets, one on each side. In this one, I just have a pair of headphones. I don't use that for much, like maybe I use that sometimes if I'm doing something where I need to listen to the sound, like if I'm editing a video when I'm out and about, but generally I don't really use those for too much. And there's nothing in the other side pocket right now, guys. There's another one of these on the other side. Also, down this side is where you have the slot for your laptop to go in. So my laptop goes in the back just here. In fact, I'm going to put the bag down right now. And I've got my laptop A couple of people have asked me. I use the Lenovo ThinkPad. I find it to be a real decent laptop. It's a 15-inch, so it's big enough that I can do everything I need. I get a big enough picture on the screen. It has quite a reliable touchpad, which I quite like. You can connect a mouse and stuff to it, but that's not practical when you're out and about on pitch side. Okay guys, we have adjusted so you can see the actual backpack itself. So the main bag unzips, has this big zip that goes all the way around the front. So the whole top lifts up, it's really good. You can get into the whole backpack and you can see what's going on in there. A couple of these sections up the top. Actually, you know what, I actually don't utilise these as much as I probably should because there's hardly anything in them. But the top one here has currently got an ND filter sat in there, which I don't really use for anything sports based. That's just sat in there. Like I said, I should be utilising these pockets more because actually I've got loads of stuff in here that probably could go in those. So I probably should be arranging this better. In the bottom one, I've got my Swiss Army knife, the multi-tool, really useful. I've got loads of different bits on there, obviously the knife, the scissors, there's also the screwdriver, which I'll use for various bits as well, so real handy. I always take that with me, either that or a multi-tool, one of the two. The multi-tool's in the wheelie case, so again, I do that so I can't forget it. So, let's get into the main bag. I think the way we'll do this is I'll talk cameras and then I'll talk lenses. So, first of all, I'm going to stick with what you guys are familiar with me. You guys know I always rock the 72, 170 Mark II with the grip attached, especially for basketball. A lot of basketball tends to be portrait, so I always have the grip attached. And this is one of my main two cameras which I will use for shooting the actual game action. And of course everything else, not just the game action, everything at the event. So one Canon 7D Mark II. With the grip attached. I'm sure someone's going to ask what's the orange tape for. That's to help me identify that it's mine. Basketball tends to be less of an issue, but some of the big events you get loads of people with lots of the same gear, so I just mark up mine with orange so I can easily see that it's mine. So one Canon 7D Mark II. I also have a second Canon 7D Mark II. This one, you see, doesn't have the grip on because this one is the one that I will use for my floor remote. So I will attach the GorillaPod onto the actual camera, and this one will sit kind of normally in front of me, real wide angle, so when I'm shooting something in a bit closer, I get the wider angle view of the same scene. So another Canon 7D Mark II. My third camera is... my new addition is the Canon 1DX. Most of you guys who are watching this channel, you're probably going to be familiar with the Canon 1DX. Obviously, it's your go-to sports camera. Well, now I guess the 1DX Mark II now is your go-to sports camera, if you're a Canon shooter, of course. But a 1DX, real great addition for me, full frame. It gives me a bit more variety with lenses. Of course, it does make a difference to me when I'm shooting the football. You guys will know I predominantly use a 300mm lens because I was shooting with the 72, so I had the extra reach of the crop factor. So actually, when I shoot my football, I can't really put this on the 300 because it leaves me a little bit short. But I'm getting into too much football talk there. You guys will see that when I do the part 2 of this video series. But the Canon 1DX. Awesome camera, fantastic. If I could get 3 of these, I would work with 3 of these. But look, you know, I've got a budget same as everyone else, and right now that's not really in the affordability plan. So that's the 1DX. So let's look at lenses, guys. I'll start with the main 2 lenses and why I've got them, and then we'll go from there. The first one is a lens you guys are fairly familiar with me using. Is my 70-200 f2.8, quite a fast lens. This is the IS version, the Mark I, not the Mark II. I don't use the IS for sports. Go check out my sports settings video, guys, if you want to hear a bit more about that. I'm going to do an updated version of that at some point soon. But this is the Canon 70-200 f2.8. Really good. 70mm is a real decent kind of focal length for basketball if you're sat in the corner. And also the 200 lets me get down court, it lets me get photos of fans, the coach, players on the bench, that kind of stuff, gives me a bit of extra reach. So the 70-200. My other lens, so I've got that, I need something a bit wider as well. So at the moment, another new addition for me is the Canon 24-70 f2.8. This is the Mark II. I think they've just launched they launched a Mark III of this? Someone comment below, guys, let me know. I'm pretty sure they did a Mark III of this now, but this is the Mark II. Awesome lens, guys. This is a beautiful lens. Great for everything. Great for portraits, events, weddings. You could shoot this with, but also really great sports lens, especially for basketball. So the Canon 24-70. Which I use so much now. Previously I didn't have this lens. You guys know I was using the nifty 50, the 50mm f1.8, which I do still use. In fact, you know what, that's the only thing that's not in this bag right now, which will be going into it before I go to my basketball event on the weekend, because I always have that with me. Because if you're in a real pinch and you're thinking, God, the light's even worse than I thought it was going to be, that's great, because you can use the f1.8 and it gives you that extra light to get the shutter speed higher. So Canon 24-70, great for baseline if you're sitting under the basket, still in the corners. Awesome lens. My third lens, I talked about the floor remote that I do. So for that I need something a bit more wide angle. So I use my trusty Sigma 18-35. This is f1.8. I can also use this for other aspects as well. Again, if the light's really poor, I could use this on the baseline. But I use this for my floor remote. Really out wide. I tend to have it right out at 18mm on the front of that 72. It gives me really a wide angle, especially if I'm right under the basket, kind of looking up towards the rim and the backboard, and you get some fans in the background. Really cool aspect of the game to get some of that kind of almost like epic looking wide angle stuff. So I really love that lens. Perfect for that, and I use that one for my floor remotes all the time. So what else have I got in here? So obviously cameras and lenses isn't the only stuff I have in here. First of all, I've got the power cable for my laptop. Really essential. This is something I double check I've got all the time. Obviously when I'm out and about pitch side at a football game, I can't plug in, but mostly at the basketball events you can plug in whilst you're actually there courtside. There's normally power sockets near enough, so I use that all the time and I take it with me, even if I just need to charge up. Power cable. So, talk floor remotes. I need some triggers to fire that floor remote, and these are my triggers. They're all in this little bag. Now, you guys know I was using the Yongnuo 603 triggers. I've actually upgraded these as well, so I am now using the Pocket Wizards. These are the Pocket Wizard Plus 3s. Great triggers, really good. You guys who know anything about sports, you probably heard something about these before. Really good for the remotes, floor remote for basketball, behind the goal as well. But I will cover a bit more about behind the goal in my football video. But these are the triggers that I use for my floor remote. Probably the biggest advantage of this is that I can trigger this from the top of my camera, as in when I fire the camera in my hand, it also fires the other one. I don't always like that, because especially with something like basketball, you come away with 1,000 remote camera shots and you get maybe 2 which are good. So I quite often with my old triggers, and still sometimes with this, I will fire it from in my hand. I kind of hold this with my thumb. I shoot my camera with this hand, and then my thumb is triggering the remote. So I do that sometimes as well. There's the cable in there for the triggers as well, but that's everything in there. I have a camera strap. I actually rarely use a camera strap for anything at all. I tend to just handhold my cameras. Risky maybe, I know. If I'm doing an event or something, or I'm carrying my gear all day, then I do. But for sports events, I rarely use a strap. But I have a strap with me just in case. I have spare batteries. I've got the spare batteries for the 72 in there. I've also got a spare battery for the 1DX, but it's actually charging right now, so that will go in here before the weekend as well. But spare batteries, really important thing to have. Cleaning kit, nothing too fancy, very simple. I've got one brush and one air blower. That's all I need. Obviously, I clean all my gear before I go to any event, but the brush and the air blower are just the things that you would need. Like maybe if you're there pitch side and you get some kind of dust or something on your lens, you just want to quickly give it a touch up. Really, that's all I would need to do that. More extensive cleans I would do at home before events or after events. That's what I need when I'm actually out there. I think pretty much the last thing in this, well, no, there's, okay, not the last thing. There's a rain cover in here as well. This is the rain cover that comes with the backpack. Really useful. You never know when this might be sat out in the rain. Not so much a basketball, but I always take this with me, whether I'm walking to or from an event or whatever else it could be. So yeah, that's in the back there. And the last, but perhaps the most important thing, is my memory cards. I use a Think Tank memory card holder. I think this is called the Think Tank, there you go, Think Tank Pixel Pocket Rocket. I have all my memory cards in there, my CF cards, my SD cards, loads of spares just in case. Obviously I've got them in the camera as well, but I have my spares in there which I always keep. Handy tip, guys, when you're doing photography, especially if you're doing photography jobs, this is arguably the most important thing you're ever going to have. So when I finish an event, all of my cameras use 2 memory cards, and what I will always do is I will take one memory card out and I will put it in here, and I'll leave the other memory card in the camera. So then I'm in a situation where I've got the cameras in my bag with one memory card in, and then another set of memory cards in here, which is on my person. It'll be in my pocket or something like that. I also have on here my business card in the back, and in there is a note behind the business card where it says reward for return. So if I did lose this, hopefully someone maybe would find it and they would consider returning it to me if they see that note, especially because this could be really important, right? I could do a big event and the photos could be on here, and if I lost this I could be in big trouble. So really, really worthwhile taking care of this. Perhaps the most important thing you're going to have in your camera bag. And that's everything that's in there, guys. The bag is empty. It's empty. So look, I hope you guys found that interesting. I love seeing what other gear people use, and I hope you guys found that cool too. Thank you for watching the video, guys. There is going to be part 2 of this coming with my football gear and what's in my bag for shooting football. In the meantime, I said it before, I'm going to say it again. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Smash that like button like you mean it. And guys, I will see you on the next video, which hopefully will be in a week from now. I intend on doing these videos every week at the moment. So I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.